Tonight, the dire warning for people in Hurricane Milton's path. Get out now.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Highways jammed as millions flee the powerful storm.
I'm not staying for this one.
We break down how Milton became so dangerous so fast. The frontman of Canadian rock band Sum 41 alleges abuse by his former manager.
There's things in the book that I was like, I thought I would take that to my grave.
The British-Canadian scientist known as the Godfather of AI wins the Nobel Prize in physics.
I'm still slightly in shock.
How his warning about the dangers of AI is now sparking change.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thank you for joining us. Hurricane Milton is barreling towards Florida tonight, bringing a destructive combination of powerful winds, intense rain, and life-threatening storm surge that could reach 5 meters. So right now, more than 9 million people have been ordered to leave their homes. The warning coming with a pointed message: if you do not evacuate today, tomorrow might be too late. That is, the scale of the massive system is becoming even more clear from space, with landfall now expected on Wednesday night. The U.S. president is warning Milton could be the worst hurricane to hit Florida in a century. And as Cam McIntosh shows us, many residents are taking this one seriously.
Riding into the storm, hurricane chasers trying to get a better sense of Milton's path. Also feeling a bit of its power.
Can I grab my phone real quick?
Churning across the Gulf of Mexico, Milton briefly down to a Category 4, then back to a 5, bearing down on Florida's Gulf Coast, where millions of residents are on the move. In a place where hurricane warnings are part of life, many say this feels different.
I've ridden out all the storms. This would be the first one I'm leaving for.
After striking Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, Milton is poised to broadside Florida's shallow Gulf Coast waters, with surges up to 5 meters. Tampa may be hit worst.
I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
The president says the U.S. government is bracing for catastrophe.
This could be the worst storm to hit Florida in over a century, and God willing, it won't be.
Just 2 weeks ago, Helene tore through Florida and 5 other states, killing more than 230 people.
We have the average height of surge for Hurricane Helene.
This video posted by the National Weather Service warning how much higher Milton's surge may be.
That's the height of most people's ceilings.
Strewn along Milton's path, Helene's debris, and fears it will all get whipped back up again.
All this is going to be pretty much missiles coming through. If it's the amount of wind that's going through with this hurricane coming in, I'm not staying for this one.
Milton is unique. Warmer than normal water in the Gulf of Mexico is fueling it, while it hasn't met outside winds that often weaken hurricanes.
In this case, it was extreme rapid intensification, one of the fastest rates of turning into a Category 5 from a tropical storm that we've ever seen in human history.
Shelters are being set up. That's a major league ballpark. As people further inland stock up, all is getting out gets harder. There's a run on fuel. Airports in Tampa and Orlando are closed. The governor warning most of Florida will feel this.
There's going to be impacts far beyond wherever the eye of the storm is.
Milton is expected to slow as it makes landfall. However, as it crosses Florida, it's also expected to maintain hurricane force. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
CBC News meteorologist Ryan Snodden joins us from Halifax. So Ryan, very clearly as Milton gets closer, we're getting this better sense of what it will bring.
Yeah, that's right, Adrian. And, you know, Florida is no stranger to tropical storms and hurricanes, but Milton is different. And really the trajectory is the biggest thing that stands out with this storm. Not a side swipe. This is going to hit broadside on the Gulf Coast. That is rare. And not only hitting broadside, but hitting likely as a very strong Category 3 storm Wednesday night into Thursday. And so that wall of water is going to be pushed in and along that Gulf Coast. Storm surge is going to be a big story, like it was with Helene. The Tampa Bay area, 3 to 5 meters, that's 10 to 15 feet of water, all into those little bays and inlets. This is going to be devastating. The winds also are going to be so impactful. Widespread gusts here, hurricane force, including for Orlando, but Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, 175 kilometer per hour winds or more. Major hurricane winds, obviously major damage. And then there's the flash flood risk and, widespread 100 to 300 millimeters of rain, up to 450 millimeters locally. With all that debris, it's going to be awfully difficult for that water to get away. Adrienne.
All right, Ryan Snodden in Halifax. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, from the angle at which it's making landfall to the debris that is already on the ground, there are several reasons why Milton is so dangerous. In just over 20 minutes, Andrew Chang will break down what is so worrying about what's coming. Well, Donald Trump is being accused of politicizing the response to the last deadly hurricane to strike the U.S. Southeast, Helene. As Paul Hunter shows us, his false claims are raising fears for some that disaster victims won't get the help they need.
Even with all eyes now on Milton, it's the fallout from Helene that's suddenly caught up in the ever more ugly U.S. presidential election.
Kamala Harris has left them stranded. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever.
On that, Donald Trump's supporters cheered, but fact checkers had a field day, labeling Trump's claims Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have failed to properly aid those hit hard by Helene as demonstrably false.
This is un-American.
Biden, in turn, slamming Trump for politicizing Helene's damage and harming Americans in need.
But it misleads people. It puts people in circumstances where they panic.
Even Republican governors in the region have emphasized federal help has been coming through.
And we've got an overwhelming response, a positive response from everyone from the governors of Florida up to North Carolina.
Trump backer and Republican lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia has even falsely suggested the U.S. government somehow controls the weather, feeding online conspiracy theories, but so too mockery.
If they could control the weather, they would have made sure a house landed directly on you, you demented, wicked witch.
It's extraordinarily irresponsible.
In pushing back on Trump, the Harris campaign now with a new campaign ad.
I worked in the Trump administration.
With testimonials from former Trump insiders on the Trump they saw as president when natural disasters struck.
He would suggest not giving disaster relief to states that hadn't voted for him.
All of this as that next, even bigger storm, Milton, now targets the Florida coast. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
Canadian politicians are condemning protesters caught on camera lighting a Canadian flag on fire and calling for Israel to burn. As Catherine Cullen explains, it comes as tensions over the Middle East boil over on Parliament Hill.
A protest denounced in Parliament.
It is absolutely unacceptable to burn the Canadian flag and to chant death to Canada.
To these pro-genocide, anti-Semitic, anti-Canadian mobs who threaten our Jewish communities nationwide.
Responding to video like this.
Israel, burn, burn!
Posted by the Western Standard, taken at a Vancouver protest on the anniversary of the deadly October 7th attacks in Israel by Hamas.
And most deadly attack.
The Conservatives insist growing anti-Semitism is the fault of the Liberal government. Speaking at a memorial hosted by Ottawa's Jewish Federation, Pierre Poilievre was very political.
These horrifying outbursts of hatred are not from the bottom up, they are from the top down.
Telling the audience that it was time for a change in government.
Pander to Hamas supporters.
And earlier that same day, in the House of Commons, he accused the Foreign Affairs Minister of pandering to Hamas supporters, a point he pressed again today.
She's pandering politically, which is what Justin Trudeau has been doing for the last 9 years.
Poilievre's refusal to apologize for what he said in the House meant he wasn't allowed to ask any questions Tuesday, while Mélanie Joly had plenty to say.
Mais je les condamne. Je les condamne tous les jours.
Becoming visibly frustrated in French as she offered condemnation of anti-Semitism and Hamas, she says Poilievre is a hypocrite.
Well, he's saying that he's fighting anti-Semitism. He never condemned those who were waving a Nazi flag during the Freedom Convoy on this Parliament Hill. Why didn't he?
The harsh tone of this discussion reflects the tension around the Middle East, but also the tension in an uncertain minority parliament. And it is worth noting that Poilievre's decision to be so partisan at that October 7th event might seem surprising, but he did get a lot of applause in that room last night.
And Catherine, going back to that video from the Vancouver protest, what do we know about who was involved?
Well, the protest was organized by a group called Semidoon, which earlier today the leader of BC's Conservatives called to be listed as a terrorist entity. Poilievre took up that call too, arguing that the group is linked to another group which is listed as a terrorist entity. The federal Liberals said today they have asked national security advisors for an emergency review. Adrienne?
All right, Catherine Cullen in Ottawa tonight. Thank you. In Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes pounded Hezbollah-dominated neighborhoods in Beirut today as its ground incursion in the country's south grew. Margaret Evans is in Beirut and shows us Israel is also warning some residents to stay away from the sea.
No relief for Lebanon. Israeli airstrikes relentless, both here in the capital, Beirut, and in the south, where Israel says it's expanding its ground operation. And from the Israeli Prime Minister to the Lebanese people, a warning.
You have an opportunity to save Lebanon before it falls into the abyss of a long war that will lead to destruction and suffering like we see in Gaza.
He said Israel had taken out the likely replacement for the slain Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and the replacement's replacement.
Free your country from Hezbollah so that this war can end.
Earlier, Hezbollah fired more than 100 rockets at Israel in an hour, some making it through the defense system to hit near Haifa. The militant group's deputy leader, Naim Qassem, also appeared in a dimly lit video to deny Israeli claims of battlefield success. I would like to reassure you our capabilities are fine, he said, and what the enemy said about them being affected is a delusion. But he also backed ceasefire efforts undertaken by Lebanon's interim government without specifically linking them to a ceasefire in Gaza, as Hezbollah leaders have done in the past. Lebanese fears of a wider Israeli ground invasion have grown, along with Israeli military orders that civilians stay away from the coastline and off the water, from the port city of Sidon all the way to the Israeli border. Lebanon's Hezbollah-backed Minister for Public Works and Transportation calls it a big problem.
As you know, we have the port of Saida. It's a commercial port. So we have several public services there. We have our people, that they live there.
Alarm bells over the growing humanitarian impact on Lebanon, already fragile, continue to sound. 900 schools designated as shelters for more than 1 million displaced, already overflowing. Many people in Beirut still sleeping outside with nowhere to go. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Beirut.
Back in Canada, Quebec's chief coroner has ordered a public inquiry into the deaths of a woman and her 7-year-old daughter in a suspicious fire in Old Montreal last week. A building housing a restaurant and hostel went up in flames, then partially collapsed. The situation is similar to another fire in Old Montreal last year in a building owned by the same person that contained illegal Airbnbs. 7 people died in that case. The coroner's office says the inquiry into that fire could be combined with this latest one. And still in Montreal, a 10-year-old is recovering from severe burns tonight after a neighbor allegedly threw boiling water on him. Sarah Levitt now with how the child and his family are coping after this disturbing attack.
Everybody supports you. Words Marie-Etienne has been repeating to her 10-year-old son, his face and body badly burnt. The boy was brutally attacked on his way home from school last week in this Montreal suburb. CBC News isn't naming him as a minor who was a victim of violence. I was walking calmly with friends, he told Radio-Canada, pointing to a shortcut he took. A woman came out, he says, and threw boiling water from a pot on me. The boy said his friends crossed through the yard of a nearby apartment building. I heard a shout, his mom says, and ran outside to see him. Everybody started crying. The 10-year-old was rushed to hospital, his wounds evident, his skin blistering and peeling off.
We received a call on October 2nd, and we arrested a woman in her 40s. She could face the charges of assault with causing bodily harm and armed assault.
The woman was released on a promise to appear in court later this month. The boy's father alleges the woman said his son had been knocking on her door for the past 3 years. Impossible, the boy's father, Tewa Pierre Seni, says. The family has only been in the neighborhood since January. He believes it was something else. I believe racism was involved, the father says. She didn't go after the white kids, she targeted my child. It hurts, the boy says, and I'm angry. His family says he'll forever be left with scars, a daily reminder of an attack they'd sooner wish to forget. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Longueuil, Quebec.
A dire warning tonight from top climate scientists. A new report shows the planet has hit a number of record extremes, from surface temperatures to carbon monoxide levels, and that comes at a price.
We're having these heat waves and floods and hurricanes, and they're becoming more frequent and more intense and leaving trails of devastation worldwide.
The authors say without swift action, more suffering is inevitable. They recommend reducing fossil fuels and curbing overconsumption, among other sweeping changes.
It's the cleanest form of transportation, one of the oldest ones. Sailboats, like thousands of years.
One Quebec-based coffee company is making a change to reduce its footprint. It's using the Sailboat to ship its beans from Colombia to Canada, all in an effort to decarbonize maritime transport. At more than 80 meters long, the ship can carry the equivalent of 50 shipping containers. Well, shocking allegations of sexual abuse rock the Canadian music world.
Some of the stuff I literally thought I was just going to take to my grave. I wouldn't tell anybody.
Sum 41's frontman levels serious accusations against his band's former manager. That's next. Plus, a University of Toronto researcher receives the prestigious Nobel Prize.
I think of the prize as a recognition of a large community of people.
Why he's known as the Godfather of AI. And later, a dream come true for an East Coast superhero buff.
I told all you guys one day I would own a Batmobile.
From Batcave to Batmobile, we're back in 2. Sum 41 frontman Derek Whibley is accusing his former manager of sexual abuse. In his new memoir, the Canadian singer describes dark moments from his early days in the band. Magda Gabrisalasa takes us through the allegations.
The faster we're falling, we're stopping, stalling, we're running in circles again.
He's rocked out on some of the biggest stages. Now Derek Whibley is shocking the music world, making waves with his new memoir.
There's things in the book that I was like, I thought I would take that to my grave.
The Sum 41 singer alleges he was coerced into a sexual relationship with his former manager, Greg Norrie. But CBC has not independently verified Whibley's allegations. Norrie himself, a big name in the Canadian rock scene, the frontman of Trouble Charger. Whibley writes he was just 16, starting out, when Norrie took him under his wing, introducing him to drugs and alcohol, grooming him, Whibley alleges. Then when he was 18, kissing him in a bathroom stall while Whibley was high on ecstasy. He alleges Norrie forced him to continue a sexual relationship for some time, berating Whibley when he tried to end it. I started to unravel mentally and physically, Whibley writes. Music journalist Karen Bliss says she was in the industry at the time.
There's definitely a power difference with a young artist or any artist
and someone in a perceived position of power. Maybe it's up to us as adults in the music industry to go to that young person and say, are you okay?
Greg Norrie has not responded to CBC News' request for comment, but he told the Globe and Mail these are false allegations. He also said he retained a defamation lawyer. Whibley also hasn't spoken with us, his band on their final tour, wrapping up in Toronto in January. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
A Canadian teen known for her work with the American psychedelic rock band The Flaming Lips has died. Nell Smith released an album with the band in 2021 when she was just 13 years old. Before then, she and her dad were regulars at the shows. The lead singer reached out and he suggested they collaborate. Smith's family announced she died on Saturday. At a Flaming Lips concert Sunday, the band said she died in a car accident. Nell Smith was just 17. Well, a Canadian scientist wins the Nobel Prize in physics.
Geoffrey Hinton, University of Toronto, Canada.
The impact of his work in AI and his warning about its danger to humanity. Plus, right on the heels of Helene, another monster storm is about to hit Florida.
This is what we call a compound disaster.
What makes Hurricane Milton so dangerous? And later, a massive offshore wind project isn't making Nova Scotia any greener.
There's no if, buts, or maybes about that. It's our resource.
Why some say the power needs to stay in the province. The National breaks down the story shaping our world. Next. Well, history has been made. Jessica Campbell is now officially the first woman to be a full-time assistant coach in the NHL. She's working with the Seattle Kraken. Ian caught up with her recently at a practice and sat down for a conversation.
You were just a coach out there. Like, you know, the way the players interacted with you, the way that you ran the drills, like there wasn't a moment where I was watching that where it seemed odd at all.
I mean, I think it's kind of the point. I put my skates on the same way as everybody else and approach my work the same way. And I know that this still appears new and different, and me being in this position is potentially more new to the guys than it is for me. Like I see them as hockey players.
You can catch Ian's full interview on Sunday. And another big moment today, this one for the so-called Godfather of AI. University of Toronto scientist Geoffrey Hinton has won the Nobel Prize in physics. Ali Chiasson brings us his reaction and his hopes for the future.
And the Nobel Prize in physics goes to
Geoffrey Hinton, University of Toronto, Canada.
The news came in an early morning phone call to Palo Alto, California.
I'm flabbergasted.
Geoffrey Hinton, also known as the Godfather of AI, winning the prestigious award alongside American scientist John Hopfield. In layman's terms, they're being recognized as the architects of machine learning software that acts like a human brain. Using data to recognize patterns, it powers facial recognition and language translation software.
I'm hoping AI will lead to tremendous benefits, to tremendous increases in productivity, and to a better life for everybody. I'm convinced that it will do that in healthcare.
Hinton famously stepped down from his role at Google AI last year, allowing him to speak freely about the potential dangers of artificial intelligence getting, well, so intelligent that it becomes a threat to humanity. A Frankenstein scenario he's still concerned about.
My worry is that it may also lead to bad things. And in particular, when we get things more intelligent than ourselves, no one really knows whether we're going to be able to control them.
His call for arms actually has built a lot of initiatives here in Toronto, Canada, and the world that are thinking about how to have safe AI.
That's inspired future innovators in the U of T classrooms where he used to teach.
Some people call him the Godfather of AI, and I think it's a very valid term because he actually has trained a lot of the people that are now leaders in the field.
Speaking from Silicon Valley, the now Nobel Prize winner Geoffrey Hinton said, when it comes to innovation, curiosity is key.
Letting scientists follow their curiosity to try and understand things. And Canada is quite good at that.
and perhaps could even be at the forefront of establishing those safety guardrails the AI godfather has been calling for. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. Nova Scotia bets big on wind energy, but plans to ship it all overseas.
Green Nova Scotia first. There's no if, buts, or maybes about that. It's our resource.
What community anger is whipping up. But first, Florida is still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene, but with Milton barreling in, millions are urged to drop everything and get out.
This could be the worst storm hit Florida in over a century.
One unique worry, the debris from Helene plus Milton's monster winds could be a lethal combination. Andrew Chang, host of About That, breaks down what makes Hurricane Milton so unpredictable and dangerous.
Millions of Floridians are preparing for the worst. They're boarding windows, filling sandbags, preparing to flee.
If they say evacuate, you probably should evacuate.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Schools have announced closures, airports are grounding flights, and 51 of Florida's 67 counties are under a state of emergency. That's every single county east of Jefferson. They're bracing for Hurricane
Milton. Hurricane Milton.
Hurricane Milton. At the time I record this, it's a Category 4 hurricane, the strongest Gulf hurricane in 20 years, heading straight for Florida.
Floridians are bracing for the second major hurricane in less than 2 weeks.
It's going to have wind, it can kill you. It's going to have water, it can kill you. So I hope everybody right now starts thinking about what in the living daylights are you going to do?
Hurricane Milton has been traveling across the Gulf of Mexico at a fairly slow 12 to 13 kilometers an hour. That's how fast it moves as a unit. But those winds swirling around. When the storm was a Category 5 earlier this week, those winds were blowing more than 250 kilometers an hour.
It's rapidly intensified so quickly. It was a tropical depression on Sunday morning, and it is a Category 5 storm 30 hours later.
Usually when we think of high winds, we think of people struggling to stay upright.
You're seeing some video coming in from Golden Meadow, Louisiana, which is feeling the brunt of Hurricane Ida.
But a Category 5 storm, even a Category 4, makes a fastball pitch seem laughably slow.
The wind is really strong out here right now.
And this weighs a third of a pound. If anything even close to this weight were to hit you at anywhere close to that speed, you could die. And much of Florida right now is an absolute minefield.
Milton is expected to impact areas still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene.
Some of that debris, when those heavy winds come in, they could be brought up by that wind and then become dangerous projectiles. If not, they could begin clogging up sewer lines or just basically impeding first responders or electric crews.
Cleanup of the mess left by Helene has been in overdrive, with absolutely no tolerance for slowdowns. Florida's governor even told reporters that over the weekend, when hundreds of vehicles trucking debris encountered a locked landfill gate when they tried to unload, state troopers tied the gate to a pickup truck with a long rope, hit the gas, the gate was open. Then he said, without a hint of apology, we don't have time for bureaucracy and red tape. We have to get the job done.
There is massive debris piling going on. This is what we call a compound disaster.
Now, I should be clear, none of the models I've seen predict Milton will stay a Category 4 by the time it makes landfall. Most predictions show it slowing to a Category 3, which is still 200 kilometers an hour plus winds. But at the same time, wind was never the main problem to begin with.
The most deadly aspect of a hurricane is water. It often gets lost in the discussion to wind, but the storm surge and the flooding from rainfall is often the deadliest part of a storm.
It's true that hurricanes kill more people by drowning in storm surges than by any other cause. This video from Australia's Bureau of Meteorology shows us storm surge combines with the tides, all that ocean water sweeping towards land as the storm pushes in. And even if the hurricane weakens on making landfall, that's just the wind dying down. The storm surge it produces can still reflect the intensity of the storm when it was stronger out at sea, because all that ocean water has incredible momentum.
Here we have a storm surge pole where the colors are color-coded to represent how high water can be above dry ground. The blue up to 3 feet, the yellow represents up to 6 feet, orange represents up to 9 feet, and anything above that is greater than 9 feet.
This map from the U.S. National Hurricane Center shows which parts of Florida's Gulf Coast are most at risk. If you're lucky, maybe you only see 3 feet of water. But the purple at the center, right around Tampa, one of Florida's biggest cities, storm surge up to 15 feet.
Unfortunately, the geography of the Tampa region, depending on the track the hurricane takes, will funnel a lot of that water into those areas where there's a lot of development. You don't want to be along the coastline at all with this because it's going to be a historic event.
And Milton's angle of approach could make these surges more dangerous. You see how it's coming in kind of perpendicular to the land as opposed to running parallel along the coast. That means higher surges, potentially like what happened with Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey 12 years ago.
It is chaos along the Jersey shore. The road into this seafront town is completely submerged.
And when you think about how heavy water is, a simple cubic meter of water weighs more than 2,000 pounds. So when ocean water overflows onto land, it hits hard. That water can destroy buildings, erode foundations, roads, toss cars around like they're toys. And those surges can push farther inland than you'd think, up rivers, up canals. You can see on this National Hurricane Center map, that's half the state of Florida that could see higher than normal water levels.
If it comes in north of Tampa Bay, you could see, double the storm surge that Helene had.
The question that keeps emergency planners up at night is, will people get out of harm's way when necessary?
It's not a game. We've gone through this numerous times, and the complacency is not now. We need to get the citizens to the shelters.
If you choose to stay where there is a direct hit, make sure you write your name on your arm so that we know who you are.
Part of what makes planning difficult is that nobody really knows exactly where the storm will hit. These hurricane cones you keep seeing, they only show you where the center of the storm might be at any given time in any given place, anywhere inside the cone. But that's still half the state that could get hit head on. And every other part of Florida is still going to feel the effects of higher winds, potential flash flooding. So that's 22 million people wondering, how should I prepare exactly?
I think one of the things that I'm sensing a little bit is this feeling that, oh, I've lived through or ridden out hurricanes before, I'll do it again. But what I've been trying to emphasize is you haven't lived through this. This is a different context from something you may have experienced before, because this region has not taken a direct hit in over 100 years.
So, Adrian, for many Floridians, whether to stay or go may be a game time decision, but the stakes, very, very high.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. Coming up, in Nova Scotia, the powerful forces of nature are being harnessed, with wind used to create green energy.
Green Nova Scotia first.
The fight to keep that power from being sent overseas is next. In Nova Scotia, it seems going green is good. Massive wind farm projects, check. Several are on the way, but then the consensus gets shaky.
Whether we're offsetting carbon emissions in Nova Scotia or Germany or Japan or anywhere around the globe, it's helping to fight climate change.
Maybe so, but critics want to know, whose energy is it? And why not green Canada first? Tom Murphy journeys to where those wind turbines are likely to be and where the pushback is complicated.
It's a place with some of the world's finest winds, coveted for their clean, invisible energy. A place where people want to go green, but they just can't agree on how to get there.
I'm here on the remote back roads of Guysborough County where the potholes are plentiful to find out why a plan to construct what has been described as the largest onshore wind farm in the Western Hemisphere may not end up making Nova Scotia as green as you might think.
That's because that wind will be used to make green hydrogen that will be shipped to Germany, leading some to ask the question, should this province be greening the globe or greening Canada first? Karen McNulty lives in tiny Port Shoreham. It's in this northeastern corner of the province that Everwind Fuels wants to erect up to 400 turbines in this county, doubling the number already in all of Nova Scotia. Some of those turbines could be about 2 kilometers from McNulty's house.
It's like a freight train. You've got a lot of the federal government and the federal and provincial government just pushing this through.
Everwind will use the wind to power a green hydrogen production facility, a massive $8 billion undertaking. It's not that McNulty and others are against wind energy. It's the scale of the project that troubles them, and the fact that the wind power will not be primarily used to help green Nova Scotia's grid or help Canada meet its own climate targets.
Green Nova Scotia first, there's no if, buts, or maybes about that. It's our resource.
And we need some big projects and some big solutions to climate change.
But Brendan Chard, Vice President of Power at Everwind, promises jobs and tax revenue.
Well, this is really a transformational opportunity. We have a tremendous wind regime here. We can be global leaders in green hydrogen and ammonia production. And the benefits that will bring to our First Nations partners, to local communities where we're operating, to the province, the economic opportunity is immense.
Why not green Nova Scotia first?
Well, we don't see it as an either-or situation. We can do both. It's one planet with one climate. And whether we're offsetting carbon emissions in Nova Scotia or Germany or Japan or anywhere around the globe, it's helping to fight climate change. Now, that said, we're creating a product that will have uses here in Nova Scotia. And we really want to see as much of our product used here in Atlantic Canada as possible. And that could be through a peaking fuel used by the utilities to produce electricity when there isn't wind or solar available.
So there could be some backup use of the company's wind energy. And as for green hydrogen, no one uses it here now. But that doesn't trouble landowner Wayne Simpson, who would like to lease his land to Everwind.
We as a society tend not to look into the future. We're looking at right now and what it's going to do for me, and to heck with everything else. And that's never been my way. And if we're even a small part of it, it's a help. And if it's helping the world, it's helping us.
Well, we have a limited amount of land. We're the second smallest province in the country.
Raymond Plord of the Ecology Action Centre argues Nova Scotia needs to look at the most efficient use of the wind.
The efficiency rates when you use wind directly into your energy grid is very high, in the neighborhood of 80 to 90% efficient, meaning the wind generated and the electrons produced go to the grid and are usable. Green hydrogen, at best, is going to be 50% efficient, meaning you get a 50% loss immediately, and it provides no benefit to Nova Scotia's grid and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. And the highest and best use, and experts around the world agree with this, is to use wind energy locally.
The province says it has its own plan to green the Nova Scotia grid, and it believes there's more than enough wind left to do it. Besides, it says it needs companies like Everwind to jumpstart a new era in energy here.
So by building these projects, especially with long-term contracts with European entities, we're able to develop this industry and have that product available at a lower cost for local uses as the demand increases.
I don't remember where the public consultation was on that. I don't know where Nova Scotians were asked, is this okay? Is this a good thing?
Whose wind is it?
Well, it's a great question. We see it as it's Nova Scotia's wind, but it's also, again, one climate.
It matters because the war in Ukraine has Europe looking at its energy security, and Canada could be a big source for them. Already, there are now 3 international companies preparing to build large wind farms in Nova Scotia. And Jonathan Wilkinson, the Federal Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, says get ready for more of it.
That resource exists out there right now, but nobody's monetizing that. Nobody has a way in which to actually make use of it. But those that are actually thoughtful about how do you actually extract value from it are going to be winners from an economic perspective.
All of this has Karen McNulty rethinking her life.
You're thinking about maybe not being here if they come?
If there's 274 plus 400 and some, plus some up to, I may just not. But then again, if you sell your property at this point, where do you go? Where can you afford to go?
For all the uncertainty, it appears this much is true. When it comes to this province's energy future, there's big change in the wind.
Now, Tom was told Everwinds Fuels hopes to begin construction in as little as 6 months, part of a Canadian push towards green hydrogen exports. The deal with Germany would involve supply from Newfoundland and Labrador as well as Nova Scotia. Now, here's another story we're working on. When Floridians go to the polls in November, the choice won't just be Harris or Trump, but also whether the state should guarantee expanded abortion care. Here's a peek at Katie Simpson's report.
The fight over choice in Florida.
I think the stakes couldn't be higher.
Whether to expand and protect abortion rights.
This is about political interference and control.
This law is designed to make us afraid.
Or keep the state's 6-week ban in place.
The unrighteous nature of Amendment 4.
It's murder. But what about the child? And what about the father?
Amendment 4.
Amendment 4 would millions of dollars poured into a fight that's taken some unexpected turns.
So your concern is that file clerks could be doing the abortions?
The Amendment 4 doesn't close that door.
As reproductive care hangs in the balance.
The presidential election isn't the only thing before American voters this fall. In 10 states, voters will also be asked about whether to protect or expand access to abortion. We're in Florida because it is one of those states, and it has some of the toughest abortion restrictions in the country. And the fight here over reproductive rights is intense.
Now, that ballot initiative will require 60% support to pass. You can watch Katie's story right here on The National tomorrow. Up next, a superfan gets to live his dream.
I jumped on the opportunity and said, well, that would be great because I'd definitely like to see it myself.
Behind the wheel of the Batmobile in our moment. This gorgeous vehicle is a Batmobile replica, one that made a lifelong fan totally light up over the weekend. So it was originally modified by a car enthusiast who drove to Amherst, Nova Scotia, just to let the supervan sit in the front seat. And tonight, their Batman Bond makes our moment.
It's always been the Batmobile that was my first love, and I had followed it back from the original in '66 when it first came out, and Adam West was the Batman, and to me, he still kind of is. Don McHugh from up in the Bucktush area. He stopped into Amherst and just at random stopped at a couple of businesses and asked, hey, has anybody here heard of a guy who's a Batman nut? He told me that he had just received a '66 replica Batmobile that he had been building over the last couple of years, and he would like me to see it. I jumped on the opportunity and said, well, that would be great because I'd definitely like to see it myself. It was just kind of mind-boggling. It happened so quick and so fast, and it's one of those things you just didn't want it to end. Sometimes you get caught up in doom and gloom, but to have somebody that would actually take time out of their day, and it was unbelievable.
Okay, we're all just big kids, fundamentally. Bernie says he has 4 dozen Hot Wheels Batmobiles mounted on the wall of his living room, and he always buys the 1966 edition. From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.